So what is this hashing? Hashing is a technique used for performing various operations like insertion, deletion, and searching in an average time, constant average time. So all these operations will be performed in an average time. So this is a process of actually mapping large amount of data item into a smaller table. So that big amount of voluminous amount of data is going to be mapped to a smaller table, and that table is called as your hash table. And how this mapping is done? With the help of a hash function. With the help of this hash function, mapping of data to a table is done. So there are two types of hashing actually, static hashing and dynamic hashing. In static hashing, the hash function will map the key to a fixed set of location. Whereas in a dynamic, so fixed set of location is static. Whereas in dynamic hashing, this hash table wherein you are going to place your keys will grow to handle more items. And the associated hash function should also change as the table grows. So as and when the table grows, the hash function will also change. So hashing will find location of an element in a hash table without making any comparison. So that is the important feature of hashing. You need not do any comparison in finding the location of an element. Whereas in other comparison based techniques like search, linear search and binary search and all, you will be comparing and find out the location to insert. Say for example, in binary search, you will take a value, compare it with the root value. If the data that you want to insert, if it is lesser than the root, then you will go to the left hand side. If it is greater than the root, then you will go to the right hand side. This is how we proceeded, whether it is insertion or searching. So such comparison is not done in your hashing. So without any comparison, you can search for a location of an element. And hashing exclusively uses mathematical function called hash function to determine the location. So throughout hashing, we will be using some terms called hash key value, hash table, hash function, and a normal key. So what is this hash key value? It is a special value that will serve as an index for a data item. So whatever data item that you want to search for, that data should have an index, and that index is given by this hash key value. So it will indicate where the data item should be stored in a hash table. So how this hash value is generated? That is with the help of a hash function. Fine. The next terminology is hash table. This is a special data structure which is used to store the key value pairs. Key is the data that you want to insert, and value is the index wherein the data will be inserted. So to store this key value pair, you have a data structure, and that data structure is your hash table. So the entire technique of hashing is shown in this. So you will have the key that is to be inserted. Where to insert in this hash table? You need an index. What is that index? That is hash value. How will you get that index? You need to have a hash function. So this key, after applying a hash function to that key, it will generate a value called hash value. That hash value will serve as an index to this hash table. So this is the entire process is called as hashing. So coming to this hash function, as we already seen, this is a mathematical function which will accept a value known as key as input, and it will generate an output known as hash key value. So always this hash function will generate the hash key and store element corresponding to each hash key in the hash table. So the keys that hash function accepts as input could be a digit with the input elements, and anything it can be. So there are some features to define a good hash function. Number one, it should minimize collision. We'll come to later part, that time you will know what is collision. As of now, you just know the characteristics of a good hash function. It should minimize collision. It should be easy and quick to compute. It should distribute the keys evenly in the hash table, and it should use all information provided in the key. So these are the characteristics of a good hash function. Now let us see the various or the different types of hash functions that can be used. Number 1, mid-square method. 2, modulo division or division remainder method. Folding method. Pseudo-random generator method. Digit or character extraction method. Radix transformation method. So these are the various methods that can be used as a hash function, and we will see in detail about one by one. Mid-square method. So in this method, the key is squared and the middle part of the results based on the number of digits required is taken for generating the hash value. We will see an example, then it will be clear. Actually, this method will work well if the keys do not contain lot of leading or trailing zeros. It should not contain leading or trailing zeros. Only then this method will work well. Okay, so it will return middle digits of x square. So here is the key 2453. You find that is taken as x. Now I have to find x square. This is the value. I am extracting the middle value. So I am leaving this 2 and this 2 and taking only the middle values. So 172 will serve as my hash value, will serve as my index to the hash table. So this is what is mid-square method. Coming to the next method, modulo division method. This will generate the hash value using modulo function, that is the key modulo operator come the size of the table. So this is how. And the table size, that is power of 2 like 32, 64, 1024 should be avoided. The table size considered for this should not be power of 2. If it is power of 2, then more collision might occur. So the table size should not be power of 2. So here is the function. So this is the key value. Key value mod table size is the hash function we are using. Example, if I want to insert the key 4 and the size is 4, table size is 4. So where to insert? 4 mod 4. When you divide 4 by 4, the remainder is 0. Mod function is actually a remainder. It will give the remainder. So 4 mod 4 is 0. So the index value is 0. At 0th location, I am going to place my 4. So this is what is the most common method that we will be using. Division method is the most common method. That is the key value mod table size. Folding method. This method involves splitting keys into 2 or more parts, each of which has the same length, and then adding the paths to form the index. So there are two folding actually, fold shifting method and fold boundary method. So what is this fold shifting method? See, here is the key table, key value which is to be inserted, and the size of the table is 0 to 999, that is 1000. So what am I doing? I am taking this as x, then I am splitting into group of 3s. So this 3 and this 3, and then add these values, that is 123, 203 and 241. First I am splitting into 3s and then I am adding. I will get one answer. If there is a carry, then that carry is ignored. So you ignore the carry. Only the sum part is taken, that is 567. So this 567 will now act as the index to my hash table. This is fold shifting method. Coming to fold boundary method. So the same value is taken as the key and the same size, hash table size is 1000. Here again I am partitioning into 3s. Then I am reversing. See, in the previous method 123 is taken as such, but here I am reversing. And that reversing is happening only in the outer partitions. Outer means first and the last. So I am reversing these two only. So 123 is 321, 203 remains the same, here 142, and then I am adding. So after adding I will get this 666. That serves as the index for my hash table. So this is what is folding method. Next is digit or character extraction method. This method will extract the selected digits from the key and use it as the address, or else it can be reversed to give the hash value. Say for example, this is the key and the table size is 1000. So I will select the digit from position 2, 4, 5, 8. It is up to you to decide which position to select. So here I have used 2, 4, 5, 8. Positions 2, 4, 5, 8. So second position 2. Fourth position again 2. Fifth position 0. And then eighth position is 4. So these 4 digits are taken and that will be serving as the index to my hash table. And similarly, after obtaining this, you can even reverse it. So 4022 can be used as a index. So either the direct value or the reverse value. It all depends upon the user. The user has to fix on the hash function.